The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.
We're so thrilled to have back on the show gold certified outlaw country music rapper, singer, songwriter. He does it all. He's even got his own, label and everything too. Struggle Jennings.
How you doing?
It's good to have you back on.
It's so great to be here.
So much has happened since the last time we hung out together,
Yes.
including this little tour you've done with Brantley Gilbert.
Yeah, yep. I just came off the road doing Brantley's tour. Amazing. Me, him, and Demon Jones. So much fun. Dylan Marlowe was out there too. It was great.
Well, and it seems like
Brantley's one of those guys. He's like one of the most genuine. You meet him and you feel like you've known him for 20 years.
Totally.
So
Totally. But it seemed like such a great pairing with you guys. And obviously coming off Monte Carlo last year, which has done so well, but now with El Camino that came out in May.
My first full country album, and I'm so proud of it.
It really, it's so much listening to this album, and I told you this before we came in studio, listening to it in its entirety, it feels like autobiographical, but also, the guests that you brought on, including your daughter, it's like everything seems to be in alignment, Struggle.
Yeah, man. Well, there's no lies. It's all truth. It's me. It's my story. It's the people I love. All on one album, and it really is. It completely felt to me like it was a full body of just wholeness that really felt genuine, and from the first song to the last song, told a story, and what I've been through and what I've overcome.
Well, and I think that, you and I were talking too on how much when you're playing, you've got such an incredible fan base, which is no easy feat. But it's like, you were talking when you would come off and you do the meet and greets and sign autographs and everything at these shows, Struggle, to where so many people were coming up and sharing their stories with you.
Oh, yeah. It's been the greatest part of this whole journey has been watching how my music has influenced and affected and hearing their stories of strength and hope, and them saying, your music got me through addiction, it got me through this divorce, it got me back home, it got me through a prison sentence, or whatever their struggle was. A lot of soldiers that are coming home, or guys that were laid off, and they found something in my music that gave them that little bit of extra hope and strength in my story and my music that inspired them to strive to be better and get their stuff together. And then in return, it does the same for me, right? Because now I have purpose. Right. My life and my career is led with purpose, and it keeps my integrity in check, and it makes it to where it's impossible for me to give up at this point because I can't let these people down. Right. So yeah, I've got, my fan base is incredible. Just, they're survivors.
Just like yourself.
Yeah, man.
Well, I got to bring this up too, because obviously, you and I like talking cars, guitars, and motorcycles, but El Camino, and I know you own all of these cars after that, but it's like, but this name holds a special meaning for this album.
Yeah, so the story is, when my mother and father met in West Nashville at the skating rink, one starry night, I was made in the back of an El Camino. And and my dad had an El Camino through my life, and so if you look at the little promotional things that I filmed, it's different stages of my life with my dad before he passed. Like him teaching me how to drive and going fishing and sitting in his lap, driving. And so I recreated all that, and it was really special. It took me back to that moment because he was killed when I was 10, and so the whole thing has just been incredible. And now I'm giving the car away.
Really?
I'm giving it to one lucky member, person that gets a meet and greet.
Wow.
So we started on the Brantley tour, and now on the El Camino, we're going to finish up one person. We're just going to, at the end, we're going to put all those emails of all the people that bought meet and greets, and we're going to put it in there and spin and pull it out, and somebody's getting a 1970 SS El Camino that was on the album cover.
What a great way to give back.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, I know how meaningful that is to you, with the cars and everything, but listening to this album too with El Camino Struggle, it's like the lyrics and the songs are so honest. And I really felt like, and even what you and Jelly Roll did back in 2018 and 2019 with Waylon and Willie, I feel like your grandpa, Waylon Jennings, is kind of permeating this also, besides the honesty. And we were talking about like Black Ribbons, Shooter's song that you did that got you through a hard time.
Yeah. So as we were wrapping the album up, I was like, I felt like it was just missing something. And I was like, when I was fighting my federal case before I went away, that song of Shooters, Black Ribbons was like my anthem. It was like, I listened to it on repeat for months while I was fighting my case and, you know, saying goodbye to my kids before I left and, you know, just that whole emotional period before. And it got me through that, you know, it gave me something. So I was like, you know what, I want to redo it. So I redid it and I was nervous. I was like, I sent it to Shooter. I was like, oh God, I don't know if he's going to hate it or love it. Tell me I can't release it, whatever. And he called me back and he was super emotional. And he was like, man, I feel like I'm understood now. Like he wrote the song in a time when he was in a dark place and you know, got that therapy out and released that song and released it in that song. And then him hearing me do it, he said he felt like he was finally understood. Wow. So that it just meant that much more. You know?
Oh, totally.
So now I'll keep that one on repeat a lot.
I'd say.
I still listen to his version too, because he's great. But
well, you know, I was going to bring up too, you know, with the guests that you've had on this album, which you know, most of them are on your label also, but especially with your daughter.
Yeah.
Brianna, I mean, with your voices and like with Caitlin, the song that you guys did together too, it's like JD, all of the people that you had on as guests, they just fit with you so well.
Yeah, well, because it's all honest and true, man. You know, it's me and my daughter. Anytime we do anything, it's just a father and a daughter hanging, you know? And then me and Caitlin, you know, we've wrote a couple hundred songs together at this point, you know, and I signed her in 2020 and we just got a gold record for God We Need You Now. And,
wow, so good.
Yeah, and so she's working on her new album right now. My daughter's releasing an album into this month. We're tightening up Caitlin's album. It's amazing. Country, it's next level. And then Bonnie Stewart on We Have the Moon song.
Love that song also.
Yeah, she helps me run the label. I hired her for digital marketing, and then she ended up just becoming my right hand in all the music stuff, and she helps me run the label, and she's an amazing Americana artist. She just dropped an album called Fringe. Yeah. Incredible album. And then JD, you know, I signed him a couple years ago, and he's just real deal Appalachian boy, you know, and he just dropped his album as well that I produced. So yeah, I mean, we're just all working, and we're all a big family, and so it's honest and real. So I think it bleeds out in the music.
I totally agree. Well, and also you and I were talking before we came in studio, struggle to where, you know, you're writing with some of the top writers in the world that are obviously here in Nashville, but also you're bringing in your favorite writers and going, hey, I'd like to introduce you to somebody. And so it seems like, you know, just like, you know, Yellow Wolf and you know, Jelly Roll, you know, and other people and Sebastian and stuff have done with you, you're doing the same with other younger artists that are coming up. For sure. And that's what we have to do, right? Like, I know some of the most talented people in the world haven't got the recognition yet, you know, or they don't have the platform yet, or so any way that I can help that and bring the people that I know are incredible writers into these rights with these big writers that have, you know, a lot of number ones and stuff. You know, it feeds that fire, man. Right. And I found incredible artists that I believed in enough to say, hey, you know, I'm not putting my career on the back burner, but I'm putting just as much energy in you guys as I am in myself. Right. You know, so. Well, speaking of great moments and completing the circle, let's talk about the Grand Ole Opry. In the circle. In the circle. I saw the pictures. Yeah. I mean, you know, but it was even more powerful because of the day that this fell on Struggle. It did. And it was one of those moments that God winks at you. You know, I walked out on the circle, my debut at the Grand Ole Opry on my last day of parole. Wow. So I walk out there, and it was like that moment of saying, you know what, this is the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. Mm-hmm. Don't mess it up. You know, and I heard it loud and clear. It was so emotional. I had lost my voice. I didn't have a voice. But I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to give it everything that I have. And I went out there and left it all out on that floor. And it was one of the realest and most emotional and just powerful moments of my life, for sure. Wow. Well, and I mean, and deserved, truthfully. Yeah, I was, when Jelly gave me the invite, we were at the ACMs, we were down, and I was so blown away
You know, I got super emotional, but it was just like, I didn't think they were gonna, I didn't think it was gonna happen that soon, you know. But they listened to El Camino and they were like, hey man, you did it.
Right.
You did it, let's go.
Yeah.
So
That's incredible. And I
Jordan and
also
those
wanted
guys
to bring
are
up, you know, besides, you know, helping other artists and everything else you're doing struggle, also sound sobriety.
yeah, super special, super important. We're looking to open 25 rehabs across the country. We just cut the ribbon on one of the hospitals, and we're hopefully opening the first one within the next 30 days. I'm hoping.
In Kentucky,
Yeah,
right?
in Kentucky, in Pineville, Kentucky, right at the foot of the Appalachian. The town has just been riddled with drugs, and so we're attacking it in the places that we can, you know, find the facilities and that need it the most. Right. And we're implementing songwriting. We're bringing in songwriters and other artists to come into the rehabs and to, you know, teach them how to put their feelings, emotions, their stories into song. And then when they leave, they'll all have a registered number, and they'll be registered songwriters and be able to pitch their songs. And I think it's going to be, it's been my therapy, right? And it's what's got me through a lot. And then to hear my music affecting other people and knowing that so many of these people out here have such incredible stories, right? And
Just like yourself.
yeah, man. And so I think it'll just be a cycle where a lot of healing happens.
Well, you know, speaking of healing too, I got to bring this up, Struggle, because you won't. But it kind of feels like a Johnny Cash moment now when you get to go back into penitentiaries and perform.
Yeah, I just went, me, Breonna Calhoun, and Kix Brooks went into Turney Center. Last time I was at Turney Center, I was in a federal van being transported from state prison to a federal prison, and we pulled in there to pick up another inmate. And I got to walk back in, seen some guys that I knew on the other side, and walk back in and give my testimony and sing songs for him. And it was such a beautiful moment. And now that I'm off parole, I'm allowed to do that. I actually just went into San Quentin as well.
Oh my God.
And got to talk to the guys in there. We're doing a little documentary called Road to Redemption. And,
Incredible.
Yeah, Redemption Road. And then in September, going back into San Quentin and doing a concert like Johnny and Metallica did.
Wow. That has to feel incredible, but also to be able to help other people, just as music helped you, and you know, and you know, you used your time wisely.
Yeah,
you know,
and
I mean,
look
doing
at
the
those
mixtapes
guys.
and everything, and then when you got out, I mean, you have been on fire with the music, and I mean, obviously with all the songwriting and the albums and everything else you've got going.
Yeah,
but it's paying off now. Too.
It is. It's paying off, and it pays off so much when I get to see those guys. You know, like with the sound sobriety and with going back into the prisons, just watching that healing happen, man, and knowing what that did for me.
Right.
You know, and giving them some hope and saying, hey, look, I was right here, man. I was right here. And now, you know, look where I'm at and look what I'm able to do. And now I get to come back in here, I get to leave, right? And I just see a lot of healing happening through this process. And it's got me on fire, man.
Well, and it seems like also, like, especially with El Camino, I've got to go back to this new album. It seems you're healing yourself, but then you're helping others while you're doing it, Struggle.
Yeah, you have to, you know, like to heal, you know, it's part of the process, right? It's, and there's a lot of things that I fixed and I healed, and a lot of things that still resurface. So continuing to give back to others and heal others, and it keeps me there, and it keeps me, you know, keeps my integrity in check. It gives me purpose, and gives me, you know, the fact that I can't give up, because I got a lot of people watching that are feeding off that inspiration and that hope.
Totally.
And I got to keep giving it to them.
You know, and then you go to award shows and you become friends with Post Malone also.
I know.
You end up
He's
with
one of the sweetest guys in the world, man.
I mean, you know, but it seems like it's all of the people that you're connected with, and yourself included, are rising up.
Yeah.
It seems like, you know, hitting a stride with your music and everything you're doing.
There's a great movement right now of incredible people winning. You know, it's not just, and it's great music, but it's great people are winning right now. And I think that's so, it's not always been that way, and I love to see it happening right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, I love to see it too, and I want to make sure that our viewers know El Camino, obviously on all digital platforms, probably more videos, more singles coming out. but it's on vinyl. And so if you go to Struggle's website and come out and see him on tour, which he's headlining this fall, his own tour, website-wise, social media, where do our viewers need to go?
StruggleJennings.com.
Got everything.
Got everything.
And I understand there's going to be some
vinyl
cool...
will be there soon, and you gave me some good ideas on some cool merch. So we're about to up our merch because he gave me some great ideas.
I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be fun. But I mean, El Camino. I mean, once again, such a powerful album. Every song needs to be listened to and enjoyed. There's no fillers on this album.
Oh no.
Not one. I don't know how many you went into the studio with.
Every song we only didn't put one song on the album because it's with me and Jelly, and we're taking it to another avenue, and it looks like it's going to get picked up by radio. So
I think a lot of these are going to be picked up by radio.
I hope so.
I'm just, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
Black Ribbons. There's so many. I mean, just so many great songs on here.
Yeah, but I don't do fillers, man. We go in and we write from the heart, and if it's not good, I don't think it even makes it past the first 10 minutes. And we just stop and figure something else out. So
it shows.
We just doing it from the heart, man.
I'll tell you what, you're going to have a great band on the road with you to pull off these songs too. With you got your New Orleans swampy guitar sounds. You got steel guitar in there. You got fiddle.
I've got such an incredible band. So
it's got it all.
Yeah, man. Been super blessed to just be surrounded by incredible musicians, and actually going to rehearsal when I leave here.
Well, I'll tell you what, however you consume music, please go and listen to and add El Camino to your playlist. Besides, I know you've already got Monte Carlo from last year, but El Camino is going to blow your mind. Coming at you with outlaw country music and just from the heart. Congratulations. Struggle Jennings, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.